Okay, get ready for this. What if I told you that you could make a ridiculously creamy, super luxurious dessert in just a few minutes? And what if you could do it with two ingredients you probably have in your kitchen right now? Well, today we are diving into a recipe from Kusala's Simple Life for a coconut milk and coffee pudding that is, and I mean this, a total game changer. And hey, don't just take my word for it. The creator herself says this has a surprisingly amazing taste. And she's right. It's this perfect, unexpected mix of rich, creamy coconut and that bold coffee flavor that just hits you in the best way possible. And here they are, the two stars of the show. On one side, you've got your coconut milk. That's going to give us that rich, velvety base. And then, on the other, instant coffee. This is the secret weapon, really, for that intense, aromatic punch. It's a combo you might not think of, but trust me, it is brilliant. So, let's get into it. First things first, making that incredible pudding base. And just look how simple this ingredient list is. We're talking 500 milliliters of coconut milk, 2 tablespoons of corn flour for thickening, about 4 tablespoons of sugar, but you can adjust that to your taste, a little half teaspoon of salt to make the flavors pop, and 2 small packets of instant coffee. That's really it. All right, getting that super smooth texture is all about the prep. Here's the trick. In a little cup, mix your corn flour with just a splash of the coconut milk first. That's your slurry. This one step is what prevents any lumps. Then just pour the rest of the milk, sugar, and salt into your main pot and stir that smooth corn flour mixture right in. Okay, time to bring the heat. For an extra velvety finish, strain that mixture into your saucepan. Get it on the stove over medium heat, and as soon as it starts to get warm, that's when you add your instant coffee. Now, here's the most important part. You have to stir it continuously for about 5 minutes. This is what activates the corn flour and brings it all together. So, right about now, you're probably wondering, hey, I've got a bag of my favorite ground coffee beans at home. Can I just use that instead of instant? It's a fair question. And here's the scoop, straight from the creator. For this recipe, you really want to stick with instant coffee. Why? Because it dissolves completely, leaving you with that perfectly smooth, silky texture we're after. If you use ground coffee, you might end up with a pudding that feels a little, well, dusty or gritty, not the vibe we're going for. All right, our pudding base is looking good. Now it's time for the part that's pure magic, the part that looks and tastes absolutely incredible. Let's make that whipped coffee cream topping. And would you believe it, this part is even simpler. We just need 3 things. 2 more pockets of instant coffee, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and just a couple tablespoons of hot water. That is literally all you need to create something amazing. So you put those 3 things in a bowl, and this is what you get. A simple, dark, watery-looking liquid. Doesn't look like much at this stage, does it? But just you wait. Because after a few minutes with a hand mixer, bam, you get this incredible transformation. It becomes this thick, glossy, beautiful cream that holds its shape perfectly. I mean, you could literally flip the bowl upside down and it is not going anywhere. It's that classic, awesome Dalgona coffee texture. So we've got our rich pudding base, we've got our fluffy coffee cream. You know what that means. It's time for the best part, putting it all together. And it's just as easy as it sounds. Go ahead and pour that warm pudding into whatever you're serving it in. Glasses, bowls, you name it. Let it cool down a bit, then pop it in the fridge for about 2 hours or until it's nice and firm. Once it's set, you just pile on that glorious whipped coffee cream right on top. A little sprinkle of chocolate powder for garnish, and you're done. Perfection. Okay, before we finish up, let's quickly run through a few fantastic pro tips from the creator, just to make sure your pudding turns out absolutely perfect every single time. First up, let's talk about consistency. Now listen, when you first take the pudding base off the stove, it's going to seem a little thin, maybe even runny. Do not panic. This is totally normal. It's supposed to be like that. The real magic happens in the fridge. As it cools, it thickens up beautifully into that perfect pudding texture. When it comes to tools, a silicone spatula or a good old wooden spoon is your best friend here. Just, try to avoid using any plastic spoons in the hot mixture. And the great news, you don't even need a special nonstick pan for this to work. Easy peasy. But what if you don't have a fridge, or maybe you just don't have the space to chill it for 2 hours? Does that mean you can't make this delicious dessert? Not at all. There's a simple fix. All you have to do is cook the pudding base on the stove for a bit longer. Keep stirring until it gets really thick, way thicker than you would if you were putting it in the fridge. Then just let it cool down.
and it'll set perfectly right there on your counter in about 2 hours.
So, when you really think about it, when you see that finished dessert with its layers and amazing texture, it's just wild to remember that it all comes from the magic of two core ingredients: coconut milk and coffee. It just goes to show you how simple things can create something truly special. And I'm going to leave you with this last thought from the creator because I think it says everything you need to know. I thought I'd eat one spoonful, but I wanted to eat 3 or 4. I mean, it's just that good. So the only real question left is, how many spoonfuls are you going to have? Okay.